All right, looks like the audio is running well. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. If you don't already know, my name is Eli. Tuesdays and Thursdays are the day in which we do Q&A. My face is a little zoomed in. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, just a tad bit, just to get my face in the full frame. But Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days in which we have Q&A session, so I usually don't have time to go through and answer all of your guys' questions, or most of the questions, in the comment section for our Monday, Wednesday videos. So today is the day for you to have those questions answered. But before we jump into it, as always, we do weekly giveaways. All you have to do to enter is leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hold on one second, guys. All right, sorry, there was some weird noise going on in the background, but leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Highly recommend you also check the links down in the description below if you want to be a part of the community, or follow us on any of our socials to stay up to date on everything we got going on. But let's give a couple of shout outs to people that are here so far. DJ, Mikkel Christian, Nathaniel Bledsoe, Joker, and then Casham. Wow, we are looking like a slow stream to start. Goodness gracious. Whew, it's so funny. I mean, not the most exciting topic, but as far as the overall discussion goes for today, more or less we're just feeding off of the video that I made yesterday and we talked about on Tuesday. Nothing, super exciting as per usual going on in the market. I mean, if we go over to Poke Beach and we just take a look and we say to ourselves, all right, what's going on with Poke Beach? Anything exciting? Okay, let's see. Oh, look, guys. Are you guys excited? We've got some Annihilapes boxes. I know everyone is so excited about Annihilate collection boxes. We also have EX battle decks. Wow. Promos for the 2023 collector's chest reveal. Guys, we're looking spicy now in terms of what we're seeing here. Oh, one thing that is nice though, they did at least give you an extra pack to compensate for the price of these. That's at least somewhat nice, because holy crap, these were expensive. With only 5 packs, and they're probably going to be expensive, but just with 6 packs now. But yeah, no, super duper exciting market right now, as you guys are aware. What's up, Chief? How we doing? Mike, how we doing? Full arts from XY. Are we wanting to take a look at full arts from XY? Is that more or less what you're asking? Let's take a look and see what we got for full arts from XY. So, I mean, I don't know, is there any set in particular you want me to look at, or is it just specifically like is there something you want me to point to? Like I don't know, Phantom Forces, we can say, is a good example. Is it going to make me log in? Of course it's going to make me log in. Every freaking time, always got to log in. Wish it would just have me saved at this point for me to auto log in. But anyway, going back to it, I mean, we've got some, if we're just going to go PSA 10, I mean, we've got some that are well priced, obviously, in terms of $300 for a 15 pump of a full art card. What's up, Hermit Man? Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Good to see you. Daddy Zard, also good to see you. Looks like we're having like I was saying earlier, looks like we're having a little bit of a slower stream today, it appears. So far, we don't have a ton of people showing up. It's funny, I'm probably just in my head about this. Every single time I come back from a trip, I always get this like irrational fear, or I'm like, everyone's forgot about me. It's over. I don't need, like, people don't care anymore. The hype is gone. Pokemon USA is dead. It's always funny how that works, which is why I just unconscionably, holy crap, I'm stroking out. Unconscionably have to literally tell myself that it's just irrational, because it's just what happens when I take time off. Otherwise, I'm not gonna rest. Just wondering, since a lot of people got in during that period, if there aren't the next things to really see resign, like the Dialga EX you just had up. So more or less, Mike, Just wondering, since a lot of people got in during that period, if those aren't the next thing to really see a rise. Ah, I see more or less what you're saying. Well, it's kind of interesting to say with that, because if you look at obviously the value of the PSA 10 cards, right? We know the Dialga Silver card. It's got itself some value. These full art cards are like, there's some value to them. Like this is 250, this is 300. But I guess the real question is, are people really excited about these full arts? And I could be wrong. I could be 1,000% wrong. People could be super enthusiastic, but I don't know. I feel like if you look at a lot of the full art trainers, it's very much either nostalgic based or like character love. And I'm gonna botch this, but Zerosic is one that I don't think people are super, big fans of, or has a nostalgic feel to it. But I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, you see this $300 price tag. I more or less associate it with the 15 population report as being so low. Jumbo cards go away. Will the last print have a premium? Are they going away? I mean, I don't know if this is a hypothetical or not, but assuming it is, I guess if the last printed, I guess presumably they would have a premium, but I don't know. Jumbo cards have never been something I myself have been super fond of, or what it appears to be that a lot of people care about, if I'm being completely honest. Jumbo cards are just not that. Showing support, sold my Latios tag team. Well, shout out to you on that one, STC. Good to see you as always, brother. That is, that's crazy that you sold Latios tag team card. Hopefully you got it at a good price. Mike says, thinking more PSA 9s for some of the ones like the Dialga EX. Okay, so you're thinking more there's a potential opportunity for 9s? Is that what you're more or less saying? If I'm reading you correctly. Gosh dang, the freaking the 9 is going for 325. I mean, what's the raw for this going for? Yeah, it's, if you don't hit a 9, you're losing your money on this card. You can't hit an 8. Thinking more PSA 9s of some of the ones like the Dialga, EX, Venusaur, etc. cards that are actually tough to grade. Well, I mean, I think that there's definitely an argument to be made that they can go up. I wonder if we can just look up Gengar. Like, if we just look up Gengar and we try and see here. Let's look up Gengar. Just straight up search Gengar. Oh, it doesn't let us. Oh, that's annoying. I was hoping it was going to let us show some of the PSA 10 cards just across the board for Gengars. But I mean, looking at Gengar, we'll ignore Gengar level X, but like Gengar Prime, for example, if we take a look at this card has a population of 114 and it's selling for $871. The other Gengar right here, just the regular full art variation, has a population of 69, and there's no way it's selling for only. I mean, look at this. Look at yeah. There's no way. We can probably look this up, and it's gonna be for so much. So much more. What are we thinking? Over or under $600? I'm thinking over, probably. I feel like, yeah, and we're just gonna ignore that. Let's see at the actual sold items for this card. $1,500. There you go. Man, I made a terrible line with that one. So it's, I don't know, man. It's hard to say because I look at some of these cards and I say to myself, they're probably already calculated or baked into the cake when it comes to their pricing. Let's take a look at this other Gengar. But I mean, you did say you were talking about 9s in specific, to be fair, which 9s are harder to grade. If we look at the 8, an 8 most recently sold for $54, $60. A 10 on this sold for, am I tripping out? Almost $200, and that's an English version. Really? Huh. That's quite interesting. I don't know how accurate this is compared to any of the other variations of the 10 being sold. Okay, there's another one that's sold for, but this is Japanese. We gotta make sure it's English. Make sure it's English. Well, here's another question. Is there any actively being sold right now? There's one being actively sold for 800 bucks. There's another one going on auction right now for, is that 66? I mean, it's hard to really say what the value is, I guess, just based on the fact that there's just not really an accurate look to it. Price not considered, Lost Thunder or Unbroken Bonds booster box. Oh, if price was not considered, like if I took that aspect out of it, I would probably go with Unbroken Bonds. What's up, Tom? Good to see you, brother. Catch them all collectibles. All right, people are starting to filter on in. Like Venusaur EX being under $100 for a PSA 9. Let's go and take a look at that. So I assume you're talking about from base set. Why we gotta do this every freaking time? Assume you're talking about base set. Venusaur EX. So if we're looking at it, it says that it's selling for $69. I mean, let's just look. Let's just look, because I mean, most recently, if I see a price on TCG or Pokédata, it's hard for me to trust it fully. All right, let's look at sold items. This is more appropriate. I mean, it's sold in a PSA 9 for $52. Most recently. It's pretty snazzy. Hey, then the Evolutions one keeps popping up. It's another one sold for $80. I mean, we're not even seeing a 10 sell. Honestly, I will say there is a very strong argument to be made here. I will give you that. I think there is a strong argument to be made because it is something that right now, if we look at the pricing for the 10, obviously there isn't a lot of history on the pricing for the 10, but it's a freaking Venusaur. And to say that a Venusaur card of this variation in a 9 only goes for sub 100, I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of 9s personally when it comes to my own collection, but from an investment perspective, I don't see this as a bad play, honestly. I think you just have to look at the cards with like, if we're talking the XY era in specific, you just have to look at these cards that have just a massive disparity and say to yourself, this just feels wrong. Like, it's one thing if you've got a card that, I don't know if there's a perfect example or not, but it's one thing if you've got a card where, like the Silver Dialga, its PSA 10 is like 1100 and the 9 is like 300, right? It makes sense, right? It makes sense to me. Sounds about right. But if you have it where, let's say that the Silver Dialga was selling, hypothetically speaking, for, I don't know, $100 or like $200 for the 9, then that would, I mean, closer to that $100 price point, that would seem like an absolute miscalculation, right? How's everyone's week's been going so far? Not too shabby. It has not been too shabby. Well, actually, it's been a little bit of a stressful week, we'll say. So I'm here though. I'm hanging in there. Yeah, 9s not 10s seems like they're undervalued compared to the 10s for some of the XY cards. Yeah, I mean, we can go through and start looking at some other ones of the higher demand. I mean, let's go back and look at the Blastoise from XY base. I don't trust this whatsoever. Because these both seem way too cheap. Like, way too cheap. So, let's take a look. Okay, Blastoise. I hate how it shows me the other Blastoise. Yeah, I mean, we're not even... What was the pop on this anyway? 18 and 271? There's quite a bit of the 9, actually. So the 9 is selling for around that $75 price point, $100 price point. Sounds about right price point. If we go to the unsold, is there even a listing for the 10? Yeah, there it is. It's listed at $5,000. Obviously, that's never gonna happen. It's more or less just for attention. Necro says, didn't realize how much I missed the live stream till I missed Tuesday. LOL, welcome back. Hey, I appreciate that, Necro. Well, it's good to see you, man. It's always good to see the Regs back. I always enjoy these live streams as well. They're a fun time. Just got my first return from BGS back. Graded 26 V-Star cards. Got 16 10s, 2 of which were black labels, and 10 9.5s. Whoosh. That is insane, Aquaman rocks. So my question to you with that, I have a couple of questions to you with that. In terms of your overall V-Stars that you sent in, were these something that you pre-graded? How harshly did you pre-grade? I mean, you said just got my first return, so it appears as if this is something that you have not done in the past. So if this is a first return and you sent it in and you crushed it that much, I gotta wonder, man. Thanks, that makes perfect sense. Seeing some where the 10s are like 10x more of the 9s. I keep looking at, yes, 100%. Obviously, this has to also equate to the card's demand. Like, if I'm seeing, for example, that there is, I don't know, and I feel like I'll get flack for this, like a Skarmory, right? If I look at the Skarmory EX and I say to myself, oh my gosh, it's a value. You can pick it up for $24.50 at PSA 9. I don't think people care enough about the Skarmory. I could eat crow on that, but for me, I'd much rather go with a lot of the safer picks, like going with the legendaries or going with the Blastoise and Venusaur in that one, because it just kind of makes the most sense that way if you're trying to look at the disparities on which ones to get. So if we go also as well and look at like another set, let's go Ancient Origins. Shining Mega Rayquaza. This card is in a PSA 10 going for $667. In a 9, it's going for $116. Let's once again check and make sure this is 100% correct. Look at the population, 289, 291. So a decently low population. Is this accurate? Let's take a look. Because most of the time it's not. All right, Mega Rayquaza 9. That's an English card, if I'm correct. Yes, that is the English variation. Sold for $127. Another one sold for $162. This one sold for $50. That's a pretty good deal. Here's the 10, sold for $710. This one sold for $177, $172. I mean, there's definitely if you're picking it up closer to that $100, $120 price range, there is an argument to be made that this is going to long-term have hold value. I don't know. It's so difficult for me because I feel like the PSA 9 market is so much more speculative. You know, like the PSA 9 market is so much more volatile than the PSA 10 market, because the PSA 10 standard is, you know, for a lot of these items, or at least the opportunity to get a 10 versus a 9, it's harder. So over time, I mean, here, let's look at a perfect example of why I get fearful of 9s. So we go all the way back to Diamond and Pearl base set. And let's take a look at the Torterra level X. So this card, if you take a look at the PSA 10 or the 9 value, look at what happened to it. It was like $15, went all the way up to $300-400, then absolutely crashed back down to reality. We're talking sub $100 for a 9 of this card. If we look at the 10 valuation, what has the 10 done? The 10 has performed well, and it's gone down slightly, but it's not fallen just as much. We go take a look at another example of a card when comparing the 9s to the 10s. Let's go look at Neo Genesis First Ed. Take a look at the Lugia. That's another perfect example. Now, I think two things can be true at once with this also. You can have it both ways, where you can have a 10 perform stronger than a 9, but also a 9 and a 10 still perform bad together. I usually don't see it where the 9 outliers the 10. That's usually where it's missed, right? So for example, I mean, I obviously ignore this. This is not, this is this is not accurate, but when you talk about the value of this card going from 129 to 50,000, quite a bit of a drop. When you say this card goes from, you know, 9,000-ish dollars to the low to mid 2000s, that's actually a way worse of a drop when you consider it. It's still a bad drop with the 10, but this is way worse. It's very rarely where you see the 9 drop not nearly as much, if not more, than the 10. So that's kind of where I am with that. By the way, what's up, Ripper? Good to see you, brother. By the way, last Dialga sold on February 18th at eBay for $7,750. Let's take a look. Let's go back and take a look. Because that would be interesting to see when comparing that to the 9. Dialga Secret. PSA 10 is what we'll just say. $7,750. Here's the thing about this is I have absolutely no clue how accurate this is. We have, honest to God, no clue how accurate this is based on the fact of the matter that it's one listing and it says or best offer and it wasn't on auction. So I get really speculative with that because that's not indicative, because easily someone could buy it and then ask for a refund and then it shows up on the listing just for the purpose of having it being a sold item and it having price history being sold. That's what just makes me nervous. That's why, like, I mean, at least with bids, there's like a history of a consistent group of individuals buying on it, but even then bids can also be manipulated. But I find that to be slightly more reliable. Did we decide what booster box we're doing for the break? I think, decided upon, I think it was Primal Clash, wasn't it? Primal Clash was what we had discussed, if I'm correct. I obviously need to go look into that more. I've had so much go on recently since I've come back from the trip, so I've just completely spaced out of that, if I'm being completely honest, Tom Piz. So we'll have to table that discussion for until we get the gang back together, because there's quite a few bit of people that were a part of that wanting to be in the break that I feel like I want to get just full-on confirmation with everyone that, hey, this is the plan, this is what we're doing. And like I said, I got a couple of things I also need to figure out too. It was my first time grading ever. I did some tough pre-grading beforehand, sent any card I didn't think could get a 10 to PSA instead of BGS. I love that. I love that, Aquaman. That's such a smart play. I love that. Have you seen the new info for the Obsidian? Yes, I have seen the new info about the set. It is so funny. I talked about that briefly on Tuesday. Holy crap, Mason was, and some other people too, was like bashing that set, like, oh, this set's gonna bomb, this set's gonna suck. And I thought it was so funny to see how, like, people were so hateful on the set. I'm like, it hasn't even come out yet, guys. We don't even know what the art design looks like. But the hats, man, the hats for Terra types, people do not like the hats. Which, to be fair, the hats look silly, but I feel they've done a good job of hiding the hats on the cards. Look at the population of the stamped Rayquaza promo from Dragon's Vault. I mean, it's a stamped promo. It's probably super duper low. From Dragon Vault. Rayquaza. I don't know if this is the one I don't think you're referencing this one. You said from Dragon Vault, right? Yeah, you said Dragon Vault. I mean, I'm not even... Which card is it? Rayquaza promo? Dragon Vault stamped, Dragon Vault stamped. I'm not even seeing the card pop up on here, which is bizarre, because I see the stamp promo for Haxorus, for Drudigon, but I'm not seeing it. I appreciate that, Tom. The hats are too OP. Yeah, right? The hats look like a ring pop on Pokemon. Tom, we love ring pops. It's not in the set list. Interesting. Well, so where do I look at the population? Are you talking about like on PSA? The hats look like some funky Mardi Gras hats. That's funny. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the hats either, guys. I think the hats look silly. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of the hats. Trust me, I think they look dumb. That was one of my biggest criticisms and my biggest fears when it comes to the card arts. However, with that, you know, being said, I don't think there's a ton of, you know, like when I look at this card, it wasn't until people pointed the hats out again that I remembered that, oh my gosh, he's wearing a hat. I forgot about that. Like, I completely forgot. And we haven't, to be fair, either seen a Terra type alternate art. We've only seen this in the Arcanine, so we don't honestly know what that's gonna look like. I mean, this is technically a Terra type. I mean, it's a water Terra type. Isn't that silly? It's a Gyarados, and it's got a water Terra type on its head. That just seems weird. Heading out, stop by to say hi, take it easy. I see a yawn. Get some rest, bro. I appreciate that, Tom. Sorry. I'll try and hide my yawns more. But I don't know. I feel like they hide it well. But it's definitely interesting because it wasn't until I realized, oh wait, this is a Terra type Pokemon. But wait, how is it a Terra type Pokemon? It's a water type that's got a water hat? I mean, okay, so here's my question with that, Jason. Because you asked the question, I wonder if the pull rates in Paldea Evolved will be similar to S and V base, right? I have absolutely no idea what the general pull rates were even for Scarlet and Violet base. Like, I've seen it both ways. I've seen people say it's broken. I've seen they're amazing pull rates. I've seen people say terrible pull rates, absolute worst. I hate it. Like, and from my personal experience, it didn't feel like the pull rates were any different from anything else we've seen in the past. That was my personal experience opening. So I don't know, man. Like, it didn't really seem that busted, but I don't know, maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about. We did pull the God, what was the first card we pulled? We pulled the Gardevoir EX alternate art variation, first like 10 packs. I think we pulled that twice, but I don't know if that's busted or not, right? I don't know how busted that is because we didn't get the Miriam. I think, at least. I don't think we did. Serious question. Would a Pokemon have to have the hat in before evolving for it to pass it on? I have no clue, man. Like, to pass on the typing, or I have absolutely no idea, man. I haven't played Scarlet and Violet. I know people are gonna be upset with me for saying that, but I've yet to play Scarlet and Violet. I just get fear. I don't know, man. I've played every single Pokemon game except for Sun and Moon and now Scarlet and Violet. I'm not saying that I'm not gonna play Scarlet and Violet, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like, if I'm being completely honest, I've kind of been let down by the last couple of Pokemon games. Like, don't get me wrong, it's the same thing as old as time. They're heading in the right direction, but it just, I don't know. It just didn't really speak to me. Reverie and that kind of whole gimmick, that stuff just kind of turned me on a lot. Turned me off a lot. What do you think of the prize packs from game stores? Not much incentive when there is no unique cards. Literally, the only incentive is to keep them sealed and resell them. That's it. That's literally the only incentive, because the packs are worth a decent amount and the Pokemon inside are worth literally like nothing. Took your advice, robbed a bank, Allie, love it. Got away with $1 million, my man. The job was about to set bail before he asked what I did with the money, and I told him I invested in Steam Siege. He gave me 25. Oh my goodness. You know what we like to call that? That's a biased judge. Okay. I would say that, oh, we got to think about this through. So I know this guy. His name's Saul Goodman. I don't know if you've ever heard of him before. I I see his ads all the time on my YouTube Shorts videos. I would try giving his phone number a call. I'm pretty sure he's a real life character. I'm not 100% certain though. But I think he's probably your best bet. He seems like the type of guy that would like Crimson Invasion. So I don't know. He seems like your kind of best bet when it comes to finding an infraction between the fact that the freaking judge is going to rule biasly based on the fact that you put all your money in Steam Siege. The man doesn't understand what he's talking about. That's the next opportunity, man. That's what's undervalued right here, right now. This is going to be taken so out of context. I already know. Darn, you 100% beat it. It's tough, man. It's tough. So Sword and Shield, I got Sword and Shield, and I went through and I completed the national decks for Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. So I literally played Fire Red, Leaf Green, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and XY. Took all the Pokemon, oh, Black and White, of course. Took all the Pokemon that I got there, transferred it to Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and then I got the national decks complete there, and then I transferred it from Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire to the Pokebank, and then to the Pokebank to Sword and Shield, after I caught all the Pokemon from Sword and Shield to get the quote-unquote national decks, which doesn't even have the full Pokemon in Sword and Shield, which is kind of lame a little bit, but I don't know, I guess. And then Arceus, I played both Sword and Shield all the way through, obviously. Arceus, I made it to the 4th star and then quit because it just felt like one of the most grindiest games ever. Like, Pokemon's usually grindy, but this was like grindier than grindy. Like, I'm just consistently catching repeatedly the same Pokemon over and over again, or just constantly going to different regions. Like, this just feels so repetitive. I'm kind of done with it. And Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, I tried shiny hunting for one of the Pokemon, and then I was like, yeah, this is not happening. Like, the playthrough time for an hour or for a minute and 40 seconds for each reset to try and get a shiny on a game, which I can easily just get the shiny by hatching an egg. It was more or less just, hey, let's do Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, get a, I want to do a replay through. But the game itself was so lackluster. It's like, that was the only thing I felt like that I could have fun with. That's actually what I started my live streams with. That's what I started it with. Before I did the just regular Q&A sessions. So, I don't know, man. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to say. So, I've kind of just been bent out of shape with the last couple. I have a big collection of PSA 10 alt art. Should I hold or sell? I mean, Addy, I guess, what's your intention? Are you someone likes to collect or invest? Because I don't know. That's a tough question for me, because when I talk about sealed product I look at it as more of like an investment which can be displayed, but for cards I look at them as collection that can also be seen as an investment, if that makes sense. So sealed is an investment that can be collected, and singles are a collection that can be investable. That's how I kind of look at it. I'm still stuck playing Arceus. No time for childish games, just Pokemon cards. Yeah, man. I know it's a long freaking game. It's a long freaking game, but not even because it's like there's a ton of content. It's just long because you just get stuck for so long. They should do what MTG does and have store championships, what unique card arts. Yeah, Pokemon Company, for someone that cares so much, they care so much about the competitive landscape, yet at the same time do such a poor job at the competitive landscape. Like, I feel like I'm gonna get flamed for saying that, but they honestly do. Like, the regional events that I know for specifically in our area, so in Oregon, the closest regional event that you can go to for like 5+ years was Idaho, and now it's Portland. There is just such a hard time to get approved for just to be like an area to host tournaments, or it's not even like be a regional location, but just to host tournaments for Pokemon and run Pokemon typed events and just do the whole Pokemon play rigmarole. It just takes so freaking long to get that set up. And so it's extremely frustrating when they talk about how much emphasis they put on the competitive player base, but I feel like they don't cater to LGSs a ton with that. And even then, the prizes they give are super lackluster. Like, I like pre-release events because they're just fun to, like, I don't know, go sit down, try out a new deck, like kind of shoot crap with people. But in terms of the rewards you get for these pre-release events, all right, I went to one at a local store here in Arizona, and I went and was like, all right, cool, so what are the prizes? They're like, oh, so we have like 10 packs left from our Scarlet and Violet booster box, and we're going to split it amongst the top 2 or 3 people. And I'm like, out of 40 people? Only 2 or 3 people walk away with something? It's like, well, yeah, we're not just going to give away prizes as a pre-release event. And I'm like, I don't know, I get that, but I don't know. I feel like you could have easily charged an additional $5, like $5 more, right? You got 40 people in the building, $5 more. It's $200. Couple of people could have walked away with but you could have made it to where like top 2 are booster boxes. And then after that, it's like a couple of packs here and there. Like, I don't know. I feel like, and to be fair, it's not like that's more or less a problem with the store, because the store has to run the event like that. But if you look at Magic or like Flesh and Blood, there's so many cool cards or promos that they give you, and the Pokemon Company doesn't do that. And so it's on the onus of the storefront to find creative ways to give away prizes, which is the frustrating thing. What do you think about hyper rare full arts from Cosmic, like Sogala and Lunala GX? Solgaleo. Oh my gosh, I had a stroke there. If I go and take a look at the card right now, so where are we with the price of that card? So it says PSA 10 $189. It says, let's take a look. You know how I am. See how it is. So in a 10, if we look at sold items, it most recently sold for $268, $250, $250, $200. I mean, honestly, considering the fact that the card itself on TCG Player sells for $87, if you can get it for $200, that seems like a pretty good deal. I think it'll do well. I mean, it's a legendary card. I don't know. I think it'll do well. I think it'll perform just fine. If I wanted Ferrari, I wouldn't care if the BOP was 1 million. To be fair though, Hermit, the Ferrari is more of a liability than it is an asset. Unless it's a collectible car, and there's a reason why collectible cars are considered collectible cars, because of the scarcity. So it's a little bit different, you know, it's comparing apples to oranges. I like to collect, but also like to see it as an investment, and if alt arts are in a bad place, I would rather just sell. Alt arts are not in a bad place though. Alt arts are in a really good place right now. And also, I don't know what alt arts you have. I don't know if you have 9s, I don't know if you have 10s, I don't know if you have 8s, 7s, I don't know if you got Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon. Like, I don't know what alternate arts you got. That's such a, you know, loaded question. I play an Ultraviolet emulator, that's all. Emulators, yes. I need to get into emulators. They seem fun. None of the new Pokemon games interest me anymore. Pokemon still got me by the Great Ball with the TCG. TCG is always going to be... There's always something with the TCG, at least. That's the thing. Because they're going to bring out a lot of just more artistic designs that I enjoy. I agree. 100% started playing Magic because of how hard it was to find games and play in an event. I have to drive 5 hours to New York City. Sucks. And the LGS in my area It's $25 for pre-release kits. And even if you get 0 wins, you get 1 free pack and usually a promo for free. Just going, Eli, thanks for the live stream. It's helping get through my bowl. Hey, I appreciate that, Jason. Yeah, well, that's nice at least, Andrew. Yeah, it does kind of feel crappy. Like, you could literally charge an additional $5. Like, I don't know. Some places, they're going to do what they're going to do. Top 30 alt arts in Sword and Shield in PSA 10 and a few dupes. Okay, so you're talking about those cards in particular, the top 30? That I would hold for sure. I ain't selling that. I mean, these cards are so new. I mean, so new in terms of alternate arts. If we just go and look at, I don't know, we obviously looked at battle styles. Let's take a look at Chilling Reign and see what the PSA 10 card variations are. Selling for $270, selling for $300, selling for $122, $105, $100. Really? Are they selling that cheap? What's the population on these? Probably in the thousands, yeah? 1,000. Still, such a gorgeous art design. Such a gorgeous art design. Sub 1,000. 100. 500 population report. Another one I really enjoy is the Fusion Strike. Where is it? The Celebi. I'm a huge fan of the Celebi art design. It's only $100 too for a 10. I don't know. I would hold. If you're talking about from an actual, like, should I flip it now perspective, I think it's way too early to hold. I'm considering, speaking of bulk, I'm considering opening up bulk right now. And by opening up bulk, I mean like opening up for submission. But I'd be lying if I'm a little fearful. Because, one, I don't know what to price my bulk at. And then two, I don't know... I'm fearful that we're just going to be left with a lot of dead bulk. That's kind of my two biggest fears, right? Because obviously when it comes to my channel, right, what do I usually discuss is I always talk to people about filtering out their bulk. So if I'm a channel that tells people to filter out their bulk and then I say, hey guys, send me your bulk, odds are if people are taking my advice, they're probably sending in their filtered bulk. So that for me kind of feels like an L wanting to accept bulk again. For that reason, the storefront stopped taking it all together online because we were getting so much of it. And for myself, I just didn't really need to take in bulk at the time, and I'm considering taking it because we grade, or sorry, not grade, but we turn it over so quickly. How much bulk we basically are able to churn through. So I don't know what the plan is going to be like for that, but it's just a consideration. I mean, worst comes to worst, I just break down a bunch of crap. I don't filter my bulk. Lazy like that. Hey, well, if you want to send me your bulk, I got you for that. Only if we had the app that can compare the card spreads. If only. It's almost like they're... I mean, that's the plan. That is the plan. So right now, if you guys are curious where we are, he was kind of alluding to something with that statement. If you guys are not aware, we're in the process of finalizing the commands we want for Silver Tempest. So the most exciting command we have right now is the / compare all, right? So / compare all, Silver Tempest, PSA will go 10 to raw, right? We know right now that in terms of the best investments, Brandon 203 is the best apparently. What? Brandon 203 is the best investment for Silver Tempest? Let's take a look. Okay. I mean, okay, that's a little silly. I guess it is in theory. You say you get a 10 on this, it's a $40 card, you spend $15 to grade it, you make yourself 20 bucks. I mean, I guess it is the best in theory. But I don't know if I would say I would pick that. It's the one I'd want. I'd much rather go with the Lugia V-Star 202. Where's the 202? The 202 Lugia. This one seems to be the runner-up. So right now, this one is... How much is the spread difference on this one? It's 200%, so it's slightly better. Okay, so yeah, I would much rather go send this in for grading and do this. But even then, since it is a newer set, we're talking prices continue to fall on this one. But also at the same exact time, what's the TCG Raw? $36? Do you think that it's going to get much worse? Like, do you think this is gonna continue to fall, or this is gonna go down to the 70s? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say with that one. It looks like there might be a flatlining point, but percentage-wise, that is kind of where we are with that. You also got the Regidrago, the Candace. I mean, so my general philosophy, and I've said this before, I want at least a 2.5 times return, aka 150% or better. If I get 150% or better, then I want it between the 10 and the raw. That's what I'm ideally looking for when it comes to my investments with that. So when I look at Silver Tempest as a set and say which one do I like the most, according to what the bot is telling me, it's Brandon, Lugia, and Regidrago. And then Candace, Rosa Girl are okay, but not really like the biggest fans of on this. But one other command that we're going to be doing, so right now this just shows the 25 different variations of cards. How the bot works is it only allows us to pull up 25 variations at a time. So when we're in the process of creating a filter so that we can pull up multiple different, so it'll pull up just if you want to pull up only the gold cards and it compares the spreads. If you want to compare just the rainbows or just the alternates or just the full arts, or we'll have one that's going to be top 25. It's probably going to be the most predominantly used command. Top 25 is going to show you the top 25 best performing within that set, so you'll know which ones you want to invest in. But outside of that, once we get that filter going, then the next step is going to be moving on to Crown Zenith after Silver Tempest. Then we're going to move to Scarlet and Violet, then probably Paldea, and then we're going to go backwards from there. So that's kind of where we are. We're just setting the groundwork for getting the filters in place of how we want things to operate. Does your store sell graded cards, or are they too hard to move in person, so not worth the time, money, or investment for the LGS? My partner and I have discussed about selling it and like seeing if that's something where we would hire someone specifically who their job is to go in and buy certain cards and then just resell it for the shop. But in all honesty, it is something we typically don't sell just because there's so much of it's just so much of a hassle unless you're going to hire someone to do it. And in theory, I could be the guy to do it for the store, but I don't know if my partner really cares enough for that. I'd have to talk to him about it since he's the one that's, managing the storefront entirely, since he's the one in Oregon. Thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers trade? I think that... I don't know what I think about the Aaron Rodgers trade. It's kind of a tough one. It's quite interesting, because if you look at where the Jets are going, it feels like they have all the pieces to do extremely well. I mean, they turned it around last season with their overall performance. And in terms of how I look at the situation, Aaron Rodgers, I remember one game in particular when they played against the Lions, I think it was, and they lost. I remember watching one of those games where he clearly overthrew the ball 2 or 3 times in the end zone because they kept getting stopped at the goal line and they couldn't score. And I just remember watching that game feeling like, I don't think that's his wide receivers. I think that's him. So for me, it's really difficult to see or to say yet, because this just feels, I don't know, it feels difficult. Not to mention too, for the longest time, don't get me wrong, like obviously the Packers hate drafting wide receivers for Rodgers. I get that. But if you're saying to yourself, I want a wide receiver, and maybe I'm looking at this wrong, I want a wide receiver, and then you take a massive contract for 4 years after being back-to-back MVP, you're like, okay, well, that leaves 0 cap space for your wide receiver, Devontae Adams, so you're losing that because you're taking money. But maybe in his mind, he's like, hey, they don't freaking care about me anyway. I want another weapon, but they're not going to give it to me, so I might as well get the bag, right? So there's that whole situation. And then we got the MILF Hunter, who got put into a bad situation because he got a year and a half of a chance to start, and then Aaron Rodgers is coming in, which I think honestly could be a good situation, because I didn't feel like they gave him a good shot at really being the starter. They gave, it was such a wishy-washy opportunity with Joe Flacco, and I can't remember who the other guy quarterback was that came in, but yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting situation. What do you think about Giratina Altart from Lost Abyss? Are you talking about from Lost Origin? Or are you referencing the Japanese set? Is there a difference in the opinion of that? I mean, I think the art design's cool. If I'm being completely honest, the Aerodactyl is where I'm at. That's where my heart is for the overall art design. Taking a look at that. Let's go take a look and see from Lost Origin. What are my thoughts? The card's in a 10 going for 701. That's crazy. That's crazy. That goes for 701. We hit a 10 on that. I mean, honestly, that's insane. That's insane. You ask yourself, right? If I go on right now to I want to try this theory out just for fun. I want to try this theory out where if I go on to TCG Player, right, and I look at the cards like Giratina, and I say to myself, near mint condition, right? 325, 325, 329, 329. If we look at what this card most recently sold for in a 10, we can see that this card, bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, most recently sold for around 650, 690, 700, 700-ish, right? That's what it's around at this moment in time. Selling for around the $700-ish price point. If you whiff on 10 of these, as long as you hit on like one of these, you break even. Realistically, right? Because if you say you sell this, is that about right? Roughly around, we'll say 8 or 9, right? Because if you say to yourself, okay, you're spending $15 per, so that's 150 grading, you whiff on this, and then you also are trying to resell this on eBay, but the TCG fees on that are, or not the TCG fees, sorry, the eBay fees are going to kill you. So maybe it's closer to 5 or 6. So if you whiff on 5 or 6 9s, but you at least get 110, you're going to break even. But see, that the risk to that is what scares me the most. Is if I do whiff just for the shooting a 10, that's just so nervous. That's so nerve-wracking. That's so nerve-wracking. When you're heavily investing so much into something like that, that's just ridiculously nerve-wracking. Jets have a great wide receiver in Wilson, though, and if Hall comes back from injury, could be a top 5 RB. Oh my god, I am so sad. I had Hall, dude, I had Hall on my fantasy team. He looked like he was going to be a sleeper. He looked so good. I was so hyped for him. I was so hyped for Hall. He looks so good, and I am so frustrated. Dude, devastating when he got injured. Devastating. I was such a fan. I was on the Hall train all day, baby. And yeah, Wilson looks phenomenal. Garrett Wilson looks incredible right now. So, the price for the Japanese one is crazy. Oh yeah, of course it is, because the pull rates, to my knowledge, are much harder for Japanese. What's up, average player? Good to see you. What's up, Alex? Also good to see you as well. But yeah, man, when I look at some of these cards, where is the ranking for the regular Lugia? The regular Lugia right now, they have it at a 115%. What's the... Hold on, let me go back and look at this again. Serena 193 is at 138. It's one of the top cards. The percentage for this card is $40 is what the market is. And the 10 is around 92.90. I mean, this has just been down, 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 down. We don't know how much more down this is going to go. And that's why that small percentage scares me. It scares me so much. But I mean, you just look at all these ultra modern cards and you look at the opportunities and you say to yourself, there's just so few unless you're trying to shoot for those high margin percentage 10s that cost more. But most of those are oversaturated for a reason. And if I go / command all, right, and we just go, oopsie, wrong command. Price all, Silver Tempest. Wait, did I click price all? No, I messed that up. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's here. We're just gonna step out of this. I get a little nervous when I look at this. What's up, James from Alamo? Good to see you. Glad to see we got a couple people coming on in. If there is a reprint, would the price for cards go down? I'm looking to pick up drastically go down. Oh yeah, they would go down so much. They would go down. Whoo, so much. Yeah, reprints. I mean, think about it. Reprints, more supply equals lower prices. That's just how it works. It's just supply and demand. Do you still think Lugia will outperform Giratina in the long term? Well, I never said that Lugia would outperform Giratina. Well, did I? I don't think I did. I said Silver Tempest in the long term will more than likely outperform Lost Origin, which obviously so far I seem to be wrong. But it's long term. We're in the short term, obviously. But in terms of the overall alternate art design for the cards, the Lugia compared to the Giratina performing better. I mean, look at the difference right now, right? Like the PSA 10 variation for this card is $370 versus the Giratina variation. And I don't know what the population is on this, so we would have to check up and see how that plays a factor in things. But man, it is a tough one to say because I know the pull rates for the Giratina are so much harder. But let's take a look. Let's go to PSA. Let's go to PSA.com and let's actually see if we can pull up the rates. I'm gonna go to the pop report and we're gonna take a look. We're gonna go with Lost Origin. So if we look up Lost Origin, and we see the 186. Population for this at 186 is currently population 1. It's Japanese. Where's English? Ah, there we go. Population is 2,789. Holy crap, that is a lot of that in a population 10. Whew. Let's go with Silver Tempest. 2,000, it's like 700, isn't that what we said? Hold on, let's go back. One last, I think it said 2,700. Am I tripping out? I am struggling right now. 186. 2,789. Yep. Silver Tempest. Alrighty. Lugia. $4,632. So it's almost double the population. See, and that's the thing why it's easier for me to say performance-wise booster box to booster box, because the population difference between the Lugia versus the Giratina. I mean, look at the population difference on that. That's insane. That's crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm excited for the upcoming Obsidian Flames next set and the ruler of the Black Flames. Yeah, I am too. I know people are downing on it and crapping on it, but I feel like that's just, you know, where we are right now. What is the chances 151 doesn't come over? Weird how we have so much info over there, but nothing ever over here since a month ago. I mean, to be quite fair, Jim, that's how it usually goes. All of your information is coming from a Japan set, and then when we hear news about what happens in English, we're all like, yeah, we know this because this is what happened in Japan first. Like, okay, big whoop. So, that's just how it is. Not to mention the time frame between the two. From when the sets come out, it's usually like a month or 2 to 3. From when the Japan version comes out compared to the English. Every other set has info here though right after over there. I mean, to be fair though, the Japanese set for 151 hasn't been fully revealed yet. That's the thing, is it hasn't been fully revealed. We don't know what's going to be in it yet. If we go over and take a look at Poke Beach, and we see Pokemon card set list mostly revealed, is what it says. We know it's going to feature Pokemon EX Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, Ninetales. I mean, we don't have exact images. Is this supposed to be like a card sheet that is revealed on this one? Here we can dive on in. See, but yeah, we can see the cards that are going to be on it. There's a Mew. There's a Zapdos. Obviously, you're seeing all the original Pokemon in here. Like we see this information on what's being revealed, but these are the main Pokemon, right? These are not going to be the special, crazy, alternate art, blah 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 blah, whatever. Which are going to be revealed. So we're just kind of seeing the main line as far as it goes. The main line 151. Which so far, this set is not looking super crazy. Because I obviously said, what if they made it where the 151, which, I mean, it was a reach, but what if they made it where the 151 they made were all character rares? And then everything after that was an alternate art or better. Like, that obviously is so far seeming like it's not going to be that. But let's zoom out a little bit more. But yeah, this set is going to feature, we saw some of the cards it's going to feature. The set will release on June 16th, along, as posted before, 2 Pokemon 151 card file sets will release. One will feature a Pokeball design, and the other will feature an artwork of Venusaur, Charizard, or Blastoise. We expect will become our annual holiday set later this fall. So we still got quite a bit of time for 151, guys. Quite a bit of time before it comes out. And then more classic cards revealed, right? Classic cards revealed for the classic box, which I don't know if that's going to play into 151 or not, but more than likely it is, you know? Potentially going to play into 151, but I don't know. We honestly have absolutely no idea. They've got EX variations of some of the cards, so presumably, but it's hard to really say. Oh my gosh, first Paldea Evolved card image revealed? No way, it's not like we've seen these alt art card designs before. Picture was leaked today, average player? Average, can you message me on Discord and shoot me the link? Or can you direct me where to see? Hopefully not like Evolutions, because that set sucked. Evolutions was a really cool set. I wouldn't say Evolutions sucked. Obviously, looking back on it, we say, oh, it kind of is crap. But, I mean, wasn't it terrible? Well, yeah, well, it was an okay set. I guess it was the timing. PTCG Radio, does he have images? PTCG Radio, my favorite. No, I'm kidding. Why is my YouTube studio? That is not what I'm trying to look up. Stop, please. It's my recent searches, so. If I get teased, I'm going to be so mad. We're just going to mute this. Probably got clickbaited. The image I saw? Wait, was that it? Oh wait, we already saw this? So I already know all the cards then. It was the image I just saw is that what I'm gonna find? But that's not the entire set though. And that was old news. That came out yesterday. When did this come out? 8 hours ago. Oh, okay. It's the same sheet. Oh, it's the exact same sheet. Okay, yeah. This is, yeah, we just looked at this, obviously. Okay, so this is not really anything exciting. As long as they have hats, DJ says. 151 will be go if Missing No gets an alt art. It was a reprint of a reprint of a reprint. You know. It would be cool if they did like a Legendary Collections reprint. That'd be pretty sweet. Yes, the one you need a magnifying glass to see. Okay, yeah, we already saw it then. There's nothing exciting to see here, sadly. I mean, yeah, it's I don't know, guys. We don't really know. This literally shows us absolutely nothing. The only thing it more or less shows us is that the mainline 151 is just going to be a mainline 151 of regular, just on like whatever. It's just whatever. We're still just waiting to see, hey, what are the alternate arts going to look like? What are the gold card's gonna look like? What is all of that gonna look like? That's what I'm more excited for and when we can have a conversation about. But other than that, what do we got? EX Battle Deck? EX Box? Promos from Collector's Chest revealed? Pokemon Collector's Chest coming out? The back to school pencil, tin, and eraser blister? Back to school? We're so far out from that, man. That's crazy. I remember when these had Evolving Skies in them. Now they don't. I mean, other than the Obsidian of the Dark Flames, man, and the TPCI issue. I guess we do have Raging Surf. New release in September with Terra Mewtwo EX and Terra Skeleridge EX. I don't know. Maybe the reason everyone is Team Modern is because Vintage just keeps being reprinted. You know what? You got a great point. See, Modern never gets reprinted, but have you seen the amount of times they've reprinted base set? Oh my gosh. They just keep... I don't know what's wrong with them, man. I think I've seen at least... The amount of Neo Genesis booster boxes I've seen at my local Walmart is insane. Like, they just need to calm down. Like, it's not even Vintage at this point. Yeah, right. No, the Pokemon company, I don't know what the Pokemon company's doing, man. I have no freaking clue what the Pokemon company's doing at this moment in time. What are they doing? We had a tiny Brilliant Star Astral Radiance reprint, right? Tiny. Drop the price for Brilliant a little bit. We've had the main sets that we know of, which is Scarlet and Violet and Paldea Evolved, which... I know people are going to get upset with me saying this. Paldea Evolved looks like our Sword and Shield, or our SV version of Rebel Clash, right? I'm not saying it's going to be a terrible set by any means, but it's like, it's a mainly competitive set when you go look at Paldea Evolved as a set, right? Because when I look at this set, I say to myself, okay, we get the 3 starters. What was Rebel Clash? What did Rebel Clash have? It had the 3 starters. Oh, we get a Fortress EX. It's a Fortress EX, right? Some of the new Pokemon get their own EX variations. Wow, crazy. Pikachu gets an EX? Wow, I guess that's exciting. Pikachu gets an EX, you know? Like, it looks lackluster. And then we go down to the, you know, character rares and such. Okay, there's some character rare cards. Any that really stand out that people care about a ton? I guess the Tyranitar. Tyranitar is a pretty cool one. Then we go to the main hits. Okay, we got a couple of different Terra-type Pokemons. Gotcha. Different couple of Terra-type Pokemons. Gotcha. Couple of cool full arts. Okay. Sounds pretty similar. Oh, we had a boss's orders and another boss's orders? Interesting. Okay. Oh, look. The gold card starters? Okay. Haven't seen that before. Oh, a couple of gold card competitive viable cards. Okay. Well, let's take a look at just some of the regular train. Oh, a couple of competitively viable trainer cards introduced. Interesting. Okay, how does this not seem like literal like 1-to-1 Rebel Clash, but with a spicy twist on it because it has alternates and character rares instead? Like, and obviously the alternates or character rares are going to it's going to make it better than Rebel Clash, but it's still going to seem bland compared to a lot of the sets that have been out recently. So it's the art designs for the cards themselves. But the question is, right, is we all know how this game is played, right? Art designs matter, but at the exact same time, people care, I feel like, more about chasing a character. And if there isn't a specific character that I feel like there's multiple chases for, it's hard for me to say people get excited. I don't think people are chasing the starters. You've got a couple of alternate arts that I feel like could potentially hold some value, but I see it as being middle of the road value. You're obviously going to have some waifus in this set. But I don't know. There isn't like that like big kind of chase that I feel like a lot of people are gonna find. Because even if you look at Scarlet Violet base, you got the Miriam, and she was the main chase, but even she's like in the $60 right now. Highly, do you see value in grading promo packs? Whether it is a quick flip or an investment. I have One Piece tournament winners still in the plasma, not sure what to do with it. Well, to be honest with you, in terms of promo packs, I can't really speak on that because I don't really know One Piece that well in specific. So it's hard for me to say if I'm being honest. Did I miss anything Pokeplug related? Had a phone call. Not to my knowledge. Other than if you obviously have people that message you, just update the sheet for them. TBCI has survived many downtimes. They're the company printing cards with such great maneuvering. The new sets are realistically amazing. Oh no, I have 1,000% confidence in the Pokemon Company. I do. It's owned by Nintendo, and I have 1,000% confidence in Nintendo's capabilities in terms of innovation. If there's one thing I will say that the Pokemon Company does an extremely good job at, it's innovation. By far, when it comes to their constant growth, there's always progression being made, right? Like when I look at, and don't get me wrong, like when it comes to playing competitive games such as, Call of Duty, Overwatch stuff, PC, console, basically Xbox, PlayStation, they're winning those games, right? But that's a different audience. That's a completely different audience. And when I look at the console differences, it's just same console, same controller, just upgraded specs and rig. So it's not really that exciting. But when I see something for Nintendo comes out in a console, man, they do crazy things. I mean, from the Game Boy to the Game Boy Color to the Game Boy Advance to the DS Lite. DSi was kind of poopy, but 3DS was pretty cool. And then moving on to the Switch. I mean, and then you talk about the Wii. Like, there's Nintendo 64, GameCube. The amount of different consoles that they've created with so much innovation is what I'm like, it's crazy. It's crazy how well they've done consoles in terms of innovation. I look at that with Pokemon as well, and I look at that with some of their other games, and they're constantly growing, right? Like, everyone wants to complain, yeah, it's the same new set, but just repackaged. Okay, well, that's like every Call of Duty video game ever, but it's still one of the top grossing franchises, right? But at least with this, you're seeing constant, growth within them trying to envelop a open world system. With the card games, they're constantly trying to up the ante when it comes to art design. So the Pokemon Company does a good job at that. The only thing I would really criticize the Pokemon Company on is, one, they need to get freaking their Nintendo online servers figured out, because it's basically unplayable how laggy it is if you want to like go play Smash or something. And then second to that, I guess my general criticism is there needs to be more transparency, or there needs to be more like customer relations about the situation that's going on. Because just having an updating article that literally just continuously saying that we're aware of the situation for short printed blah 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 blah, like, okay, that's great that you just keep that on refresh, but like let us know what the frick's going on, because we want to know like why is nothing happening, or if there is something happening, at least give us some sort of glimpse of hope or insight or something. Like I hate the fact that I feel like we're left in the dark so much. And maybe they do that because they know there's going to be market effects and ramifications with that. But still, make a precedent there. Make a precedent. Don't be so wishy-washy or flippy-floppy to the point of where we're constantly having to guess, right? That's the thing that I feel like I would say. The two things I get most annoyed by. This won't do. Oh, of course it's not going to. Oh, that's not what I'm saying, though. I'm not saying that it's going to have Rebel Clash prices. I'm saying that it's a very comparable set. It has the 3 starters in it that are both golds, right? And this is exactly what happened with Rebel Clash. It has a Boss's Orders Full Art card. Instead of having rainbow variations, it just has Terra typing. So this is the new rainbow, right? For now. It has a couple of other, trainers involved. Obviously, with this one, it's going to have character rares. The character rares for... there's no character rares for Rebel Clash. And if you look at a lot of the cards for trainers, there's a lot of competitively viable cards. I'm saying that in the context is it's a very similar set. It's a very similar set. But obviously, it's got much better art designs. And because of that, it's not going to perform like it. But I'm saying if you look at the mapping, like take away the art design aspect and just look at the mapping of the set, they look extremely identical. Same guy who drew Magikarp in Paldea Evolved drew Giratina Altar. Oh, that's pretty cool. SV base has many $20+ cards as some of the best Sword and Shield sets despite easier pull rates and is padded by healthy AR prices. I'm not sure if Paldea Evolved is that much weaker than SV base set, especially with the ETB promo cards. Stores dumping SV for $98 to $100, a problem at this point, so it didn't hit as well as everyone thought, or a bigger problem with hits prints, or just the new normal with sets going forward. I think that it more or less just comes down to the fact that the SV base set, I've said it before and I'll say it again, so I want people to understand my sentiment. It is by far one of, if not the best base set we've had in terms of art designs. Like, obviously there's base set Pokemon, but it's a victim of its time. The art designs are lackluster if we look at the technology we have now. But you can't compare that. It's unfair going both ways, right? So we talk about if we look at XY, if we look at Sun and Moon, if we look at Sword and Shield, by far a fantastic art designs. Gorgeous art designs, innovation continues to grow, right? Now that I've given it its praise, now let's take a step back and address the reality of the situation. It is a base set. Base sets are lackluster, historically speaking, right? And that's just the reality of the situation. It is a set that is introducing a lot of new competitive cards. We got Nest Ball in that. We've got some electric Pokemon that are going to synergize extremely well with the new competitive sphere. Gardevoir cards, which are going to... the amount of competitive cards that are involved in this, the amount this shifted the market for competitive, it's phenomenal. It's awesome. It's great. Kirlia prices, Ralts prices, skyrocketing through the roof. So it's not a set that's specifically looked at from that investment perspective, and I feel like that's kind of the difference, right? Is people looked at this set and they were hungry for a Pokemon set under, $130, and this is what they got, and then they got bored because they realized this was more of a playable set and not really but this is history, man. Like, historically speaking, usually it's with the first couple of sets within the new main series. It's always going to be competitively viable cards. That's just how it is. $10 Pogo Tins packs seem insane. I've never seen a specialty set go for half MSRP. Well, you haven't been around for that long, because Target did a Black Friday special where they were selling, I think it was $10 a tin, or is a buy one get one 50% off for Hidden Fates tins, if I'm correct. I can't remember what the exact deal was, but yeah, it's a good deal. Yeah, very few cards in Paldea I like. Tyranitar looks good. I FOMO if it's damaged graded. So fun it is. You're going to get a significantly better floor value. I'm opening a box of Paldea Evolved with Evolved than any Sword and Shield set from before Brilliant Stars. Yeah, but that's not the question. I'm not having an argument about the value of the cards, right? Because the value of the cards are continuously going to be inflated. That's just how it is, right? They're continuously going to be inflated because of the art designs. Like, if you look at the card art designs from the first half of the Sword and Shield era compared to the second half, drastically more expensive in the second half because the art designs. The art designs are giving value 1,000% to the cards. That's just the reality of the situation. Still hurting from my $30 Fusion Strike break. They're a Japanese-owned company. Japan are more trusting than U.S. customers. What is that in relation to? Okay. I see what you mean then. Usually when someone calls us at Rebel Clash, that's a slander. Yeah, it's a slander. Yeah, it is a slander. Which, like I said, I'm not like jumping and dumping on the set based on the fact that I think it's like a terrible set that has terrible art designs. I'm not saying that. It's got amazing art designs. It's got great art designs. But understand that this set is very similar. And I mean, okay, do I have to pull it up? Like, let me pull up the amount of cards that we can compare. So we go to Rebel Clash and we compare the two sets side by side. Right? You know what? I'm just gonna drag. We'll just go back and forth because this just seems way less efficient. So we go cards, right? So what are the main cards in the set? The two most expensive cards. It is the full arts, right? You've got a full art Boss's Order and you've got a Sonya. You've got a couple of other trainers as well, but quite lackluster trainers, right? All right, let's go back and take a look. Okay, what do you have? Oh, what do you know? You've got a Boss's Orders, you've got another waifu card, and then a couple of more than likely lackluster trainers, right? All right, what else do we got? Okay, so we've got the starters. Okay, yep, we've got the rainbow variation of the starters. Okay, I see. You know, it's whatever, nothing really exciting. With this one, it's the gold variation of the starters, right? So not the rainbow variation, the gold variation of the starters. But, you know, super big difference, right? What else do we got? We got some gold cards of competitively viable items. Okay. What do we have? We have some gold cards of competitively viable items, right? What else do we have? We have some just standard full art Pokemon, nothing really exciting, just regular standard full art Pokemon. And then what do we have here? Just some regular standard full art Pokemon. What is the main difference between the two sets? This has character rares and alternate arts. This does not. But just about that, everything else, pretty one-to-one. And that's more or less the emphasis that I'm trying to put on this. I'm not saying that it is going to be Rebel Clash. I'm saying that the framework for the cards that they're putting in this set are very similar. Very, very similar. Like, literally both sets have alternate or full art variations of Boss's Orders. Like, and the starters with rainbows or golds and competitively gold cards and just regular common and common cards that are competitively viable. I mean, are we talking about, like, when we talk about common, uncommon for this set, we had some bangers of competitive cards, right? Some bangers of competitive cards. And I'm hoping it's going to be the same here. What's up, Deals community? Good to see you, brother. Hopefully all is well with you. Shout out to you and everything you do. What brings you in? Hopefully you're having a good day. How does Pokemon top alt arts in every set in the second half of SV or the final banger set? Are you asking that as more of like a hypothetical, like how are they going to top it? It's a great question. They're probably going to top it by doing, you know what they haven't done? Shiny alternate art. Haven't seen that yet. Will last reprint bring booster box? I don't know. If a reprint happens, it depends how much. It depends how much. That's the biggest thing. Lost Origin, reprint. If it does happen, we have no clue how much is going to get reprinted. So it's hard to say. It could, in theory, bring it all the way down to 75 to 80 bucks in theory. And that might sound crazy to say, but for those of you guys that watched the Vivid Voltage reprint and the Darkness Ablaze reprint where prices went from 150, they went down as low as 80, 90, 100 bucks. So it could easily hit 100. Just depends how much. It was $10 in Fates at Target, bought 70 of them that night. Nice. There you go, baby. See, I couldn't remember if it was $10 or buy one, get one 50% off, aka $10, so makes sense. In relation to them not being transparent about the scandal. Oh, so you're saying that Japanese consumers are more trusting than US consumers. So in terms of the scandal, you have more speculativism with US customers than Japan. Like they're more hypercritical because Japan's like just trust the process. Is that what you more or less mean? I could see Sonya surpassing Boss's orders in Rebel Clash. I could see that too. Great comparison. Appreciate that. Paldea Evolved does seem lackluster as a set. I do like the Pokemon Center ETB artwork though. Oh, it's phenomenal artwork. It's definitely giving a lot of very similar vibes to Evolving Skies. But that's my thing though, average player, is I'm not concerned about that. Like when that news came, I was like, oh, people are gonna have something to talk about with this. But I didn't really like, that was not really something I felt like that was that eventful, because we know it's not going to affect, or at least I knew it was not going to affect the actual pull rates of things. But for me, I mean more or less the transparency of just what's going on when it comes to reprints and supply chain of what's going on with Pokemon sets. Like, I wish there was a clear-cut system on how they did things. Because at the end of the day, although, yes, it is true that as long as it's in standard rotation, it's going to have a chance to get reprinted, that does not guarantee it's going to get reprinted. As we saw with Sword and Shield Base and Rebel Clash, never got reprints. I wish they just had a better framework. Sorry, I'm trying so hard to hold in a sneeze right now. I'm trying so hard to hold in a sneeze. But yeah, I just wish they had a better framework with that. But who knows? Maybe not, because then where would all the volatility in the market be if everything was predictable? That's where some of the opportunities come, is making those predictions while being left in the dark. But yeah, like I said, man, like, it's got great new fresh designs, but it's very similar. I will say though, if we go down, are still people grading to flip? Oh yeah, always. People are always going to be grading to flip. That's the thing. Grading to flip is always going to have so many opportunities, but it's also going to have so many risks. So you just have to be able to be the one that's going to decipher which one's best for you, right? That's just the reality of the situation. I feel like too as well, as we develop the Discord bot, I'm gonna get more heavily involved in grading ultramodern cards. Just kind of try and find the opportunities. It's probably gonna be a part of my content too, honestly. Where it's gonna be like, I feel like when I bring back Friday videos, it's gonna be like, Friday videos, we're going to grade, we're gonna take 5 copies of the cards that I put on the bot. I'm gonna send them in for grade. And we're gonna see not only how I did in terms of my grade, but then we're gonna do a full breakdown process of everything. Like, I feel like I'm gonna shift this schedule to where Wednesday and Friday are me just having a general topic discussion, and then Monday I'll call it Market Mondays, and we'll just have a conversation about everything going on in the market. Who's watching the PSA Netflix special tomorrow? I don't even know what that is. PSA Netflix special? What are we aping into? What do you mean by what aping into? I do like some of the cards though about yeah, talk to me more about the PSA Netflix. Are you talking about literally PSA, like PSA the grading company? Is there not a single one of these on auction? Wow. That's crazy. Like, what products are we jumping on that we should, that would be a good buy? Ah, that's what you're saying. Gotcha. You know, I haven't done a look at the market. Like we talked about on a Monday. But if we go look at sealed product, Lost Origin going up, Celebration Ultra Premium staying the same, Evolving Skies slightly going up, Scarlet and Violet going down, Chilling Rain staying the same, Fusion staying the same, Astral staying the same, Crown Zenith ETB staying the same. Everything is as it should be. Nothing exciting. So I guess to answer your question, the answer is Shining Fates Elite Trainer Box. No. Prices did drop though. Quite a bit. Quite a bit. I mean, other than the same old, nothing really exciting to talk about in terms of pickups. Good day to buy tomorrow with bonus box. Ooh. Just picked up some 5-pack tins from Walmart with Evolving Skies in it for $19. Hey, that's a steal. 5-pack tins? What tins did you pick up? And for what cheap? Isn't it possible to calculate the theoretical value of a particular card from a set? Run a simulation on ripping packs based on known pull rates? No, not at all. Because its value is based purely on demand. Obviously, supply is going to play a huge factor, but demand is going to play a much greater factor in this market. Evolving Skies reprints are here, but they're in the form of tins. The Umbreon tins? Are you talking about the V Heroes tins? For $19, you found a V Heroes tin for $19? It's a pretty good price. Wholesale is literally like $16.50. Oh! Yeah, it'd be nice to see if we got some more V10s, because I know that obviously we had the most recently, the Battle Styles one. Well, I guess you call them Battle Styles ones, right? Clearance. I didn't believe myself until I scanned. Hey, well, shout out to you on that one, man. It's very rare I see in my local Walmart that there's product for Pokemon, let alone on clearance. Back in my hometown, there was some. You are guaranteeing an ES pack in every Mimikyu EX showcase that is available now? Really? Actually? I think I have some Mimikyu showcases, so I'll have to see that. Is that like a print thing, or is that just period? Costco has tins with Evolving Skies Fusion, and Walmart has Tyranitar Evolving Packs, 5 in total for $24. Yeah, I know the Tyranitar tins. That's what I meant by the Battle Styles reprinted tins, because those originally came out in Battle Styles. It depends, Jose. There's multiple different prints. So there's 3 different prints. One print was 5 Brilliant Stars. One print was 2 Brilliant Stars, 3 Evolving. And then another print was like 2 Evolving, 2 Fusion, and I think a Brilliant. 3 packs for $12 is a steal. I mean, is it though? I guess if you're saying one of them's Evolving, but even then, I don't know if I would say it's necessarily a steal. But yeah, you know, it's not bad by any means. 1 in ES2 ST. I don't know if I'd say fresh off the print. Otherwise, one of my reps would be calling me up right now being like, hey, I'm ready to dump you with Pokemon product. But yeah, Evolving Skies is definitely becoming more readily available in product at this moment in time. So yeah, booster boxes for Evolving, we're not seeing those, but we're seeing them in other stuff. Showcase, not the Mimikyu EX older box. Interesting. Ah, they dumped it on large retailers. I see. Man, so us online retailers and storefronts are just out of here. Hey Eli, are you having a rip and ship anytime soon? Not that I know of at this moment in time. I'm considering having one soon though. Specifically, we've been having a discussion about doing an older set, which would be fun. Like, I think we said Primal Clash was the set that we had come up on. Thinking about doing a Primal Clash. If I do a rip and ship, potentially I could do it for like a newer set, like Silver Tempest, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are interested in Silver Tempest at all. But I could do something like Silver Tempest, if that piques anyone's interest. booster boxes are not being sold by regular retailers is probably the craziest thing I've seen. It is kind of weird to think about that. Isn't it weird to think about the fact of the matter that booster boxes are predominantly sold by game stores and online retailers, and the biggest thing that is crushing a lot of stores right now is the fact that there isn't a reprint for that, but then there's other ancillary product that's getting printed quite heavily, and you're seeing it predominantly be dumped in big box retailers. Oh, Wrath is asking, are the mystery packs shipping next week? Potentially, Wrath. I have a couple of things I'm waiting to arrive. So we've got the majority of the regular packs. And by the regular packs, I mean like the Evolving Skies, the Brilliant Stars, the Shining Fate celebrations, yada. That's going to be involved. I'm still waiting for the rest of my silver and gold packs to arrive. That is the main thing right now. I have purchased all the golds. I've purchased like 90% of the silvers. I still have a couple more that I'm waiting to arrive. So as long as everything arrives on time, hopefully I should be able to start shipping out. But yeah. Yes, please raise the price of Logie V Altar. My boy's drowning. I can almost guarantee you the pull rates on the Silver Tempest reprint coming up is going to be even worse than rates now. But I mean, there's no guarantee reprint. As much as I would love to say there isn't a guarantee reprint at this moment in time. But yeah, I could do a rip and ship for Silver Tempest if you guys care. It's an option for a rip and ship. Lugia price has to eventually go up in price. The thing is so tough to pull. Plus an excellent art. I don't know, man. We opened like 500 Silver Tempest packs when the set came out, and we pulled it within like the first 60 packs. Like, we pulled it fast. Average player. What happened to Steam Siege? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start wrapping things up here. We're down to the witching hour, so we've got about a couple more minutes before I wrap things up. So if you got any more questions or things we can discuss before I head out, ready to roll. How many sets have been in print at one given time? I mean, let's just talk about what's in print right now. Here's what's in print currently speaking, if we're including specialty sets. 1, 2, 3, because Scarlet and Violet. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? 12 sets. Previous to that, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. About 12 at a time, I'd want to say. How do you go about buying from distributors and starting an online Pokemon business? Well, for the starting of the online Pokemon business, so in order to get distributors, you typically have to have some form of reference, and most distributors at this point are only accepting LGS applications. Very rarely will they accept online stores at this point. But if, it's still worth giving it a shot. I'm not trying to discourage people. But what you have to do is kind of create a reputation for yourself, or have something that the applicants can look at when trying to approve you. And then outside of that, once you've gone through the application process of getting approved, then that's obviously how you access distribution. But like for myself, I got extremely lucky when it came to me getting my product. I got in at the right time with the right people. Pokey Jace here on YouTube is claiming there's one upcoming along with Lost Origin. Well, I will watch his video and I will see if it's true or not. But also, isn't Pokey Jace from the UK as well? If I'm correct. Let me look at his face. Yeah, Pokey Jace is the guy from the UK. That has nothing to do with the US. But I could be wrong. Maybe he's talking about US. I'll have to watch the video. I agree, average player. And you 2 more coming out in June, but we were waiting for reprint news after May. So what sets are dropping? So these 2, I mean, we just don't know, man. Silver's like, I got lucky. I don't know, man. I pretty consistently pull the best Pokemon from every set, I would say. Pretty consistently. So I've done breaks for Evolving. I pulled the best card. Fusion, I pulled the best card. Chilling, I pulled the best card. Brilliant, I pulled the best card. I can't remember if I said Evolving already. I pulled 3 Moonbreons. Astral Radiance, we didn't pull the best card. There's one. Lost Origin, we didn't pull the best one. Silver Tempest, we did. I think Astral, we pulled a couple of like middle of the road alternards, but never. Oh, that's a lie. We pulled the Machamp. That's a lie. We pulled the Machamp. We did pull. We did get one of the best cards. The Lost Origin though, Lost Origin was a toughie. I've had terrible luck with Lost Origin. But I mean, going back to as far as when I started doing breaks in battle styles, that is when I first started doing breaks. I've pulled the Tyranitar, Sleeping T-Tar, at least 7 times. Crazy how many I've pulled. Crazy how many I've pulled. So many. So, come to think of it, I consistently pulled the best. Literally, thinking about it, over the past 12 sets, I've consistently pulled the first best, if not like one of the top 3 best in the set. And the only 2 sets I can think of where I didn't pull the number 1 best card was Lost Origin and Scarlet and Violet. And Scarlet and Violet, I pulled the Gardevoir multiple times, but I never pulled the Miriam. I never even pulled a full art trainer or a full art alternate trainer. Any word on the Lord of the Rings? No word yet. It's pretty high demand, and considering we have been building up most of our allocations for Pokemon, it's extremely difficult for us to say we're going to get a good amount because it's allocated based on magic spend. Later, everyone. Have a great day. Dang, that's some good luck. I'm still just... Hey, well, I appreciate you stopping by, Inbox. Dude, I swear I felt like it's never going to happen. Some only collectors have been lucky to pull the Lugia easily, pulled the rest altars. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Ironically enough, my best luck by far has been Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go was one of my best sets I've pulled. I had an ETB where I pulled two Radiant Charizards, an alternate art, and a full art, and like 1 or 2 Dittos in one ETB. So it was broken. It was broken, like insane. But, alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to thank you guys all so much for stopping by. As always, we do weekly giveaways. Make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to enter into the weekly giveaways. Outside of that, if you want to support the channel or stay up to date with all things we do, links are down in the description below for that. But that is all. Thank you all once again so much. Until then, I will see you all.